Okay, so what we're gonna do in this tutorial is how to do the double exposure effect in Pixlr. So it's gonna look something like this, where you have an image that you've selected that's kind of blended into a top image. And so for this particular technique, it's better to have a portrait. So a portrait is of someone. It could be yourself or somebody else. You could also do a cartoon character, but I would only do like one person or cartoon character, one thing. You're also going to need a background, some type of background that you're going to blend into that person. So to start a piece of art in Pixlr, you can either go to Create New or Stock Search. You could search Portrait. If you don't know how to do that, I've already have a video. It's in your notebook. So I'm going to select the Square HD, and I'm going to click Create. It can be any size you want. So you first want to find your portrait picture. I already have mine. I found it off of Pixlr. So if you find something on another page, you're going to want to right click and click copy image, or Control C, the letter C as in cat. And then to paste it, Control V. So here's my image. I'm going to first stretch it out so that way it fits most of my bottom layer. If I have it on fixed, so you want to click arrange, you want to make sure you're on your layer. If you only click fixed, it's only going to come out diagonally like this. You can't move it left to right. So you want to click free if you want to move it out. But I'm just going to move it right here, and then I'm going to center it because it doesn't have to fill the whole page. So what I'm going to do now is cut out the background. And to do that, you can go to the scissor tool. Make sure you're on your layer with your image. And you want to select the scissor tool. There's a lot of different ways that you can cut out. The first way I would try to do it is with the Magic Mask. Magic Mask is a wand, and what it does is once you click somewhere, it collects everything that is that same color of where you clicked. You're going to want to make sure you're on Remove from Mask. You can change the tolerance of the Magic Mask, so you could change it to 100% and it would click and cut out a lot of stuff, and you don't want to do that. So in order to undo something, you click Control Z. So I always keep my tolerance around 30. That's what works for me. And I'm going to start clicking parts of the background. Now, you might have to make it less. And as I'm going around, I'm pressing the Control Z to undo stuff. So if you're having issues cutting things out, change your tolerance. So mine's at a 7 right now. And then you should be able to cut most of the background out. Now I still have these little pieces here. So what I'm going to do is take my shape and make sure you're on Remove from Mask, and you can actually cut most of it out using squares. You can use squares, circles, and lines. I usually just use the squares. And so there is still some on the edges. So what I'm going to do is take my draw mask. It's just basically a brush. And I'm going to go and clean up the edges. To zoom in and out, you want to click, to zoom out, you want to click Command Z, or not Command Z, sorry, Control and then the plus sign, and then to zoom out, to zoom in, it's Control and then the plus sign, and to zoom out, it's Control and then the minus sign. Okay, so I think I got most of it. So now what I'm going to do is make sure that I have a color on my first layer. So you should have a blank layer. If you don't, you just click the plus sign and empty. And then you can click, make sure this is white. You're going to want a white layer to start off. And then you can click the bucket and then fill it in. Now I still have some pieces that I didn't erase. So I can always go back and use my draw mask and click on a couple different areas. Sorry. But I'm not going to do that right now. So now that I have my person, my image, I want to add that next part, that blended part. And so I have this, so I'm going to right click, click copy image, and then Control V to paste it. Now, instead of trying to resize it to match the picture, I'm going to go to the layer settings and change the transparency so I can see both my image and my person. Now I'm going to arrange and change the size of my image I just added, because I'm only going to be able to see what's inside of my person, my portrait that I selected. So this is what I have so far, and I think I like it in this position. Make sure it's completely covered, like you're not having some of your person not covered. Make sure it's all the way covered. And then once you're finished with that and you like where it is, you can change the transparency all the way back up. Now what you're going to do is on your portrait layer, you're going to click the layer settings and go all the way down to duplicate. So you're going to have your original portrait image and then a copy of it. And you can, what you want to do is take the copy and move it above your background that you just chose. Once you do that, you're going to go ahead and on that top image, that copy, you're going to go ahead and click the three dots, the layer settings, go to blend mode, and all the way down, you're going to go to mask. And so that is going to cut everything out that's not inside of your portrait. So after that, staying on these layer settings, you're going to click on merge down, and it's going to merge your landscape or your background picture with your portrait. So you still have this picture underneath, and we still want that, and we want to make another copy. So we're going to go to layer settings, then we're going to go to duplicate again and do the same thing. Bring it up. So you should have another copy of your portrait, the picture that we just made that has the landscape in it, and then another portrait picture. So I'm going to go to layer settings on the top for the top image, and I'm going to go to blend mode, and then I'm going to go to lighten. And that's going to show me some of my picture. Now, staying on that top image, I'm going to merge it down again. I want to be able to see my face a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is back to the cut the cut set tool. I'm going to go to draw, and then this is going to erase some of your landscape so you can see your portrait. So I'm going to change this. I want it to be really like light, so I'm going to change it to 400. That's going to make it, the brush size to 400. That's going to make it pretty big. And then the opacity, I want it to be low because I don't want I don't want it, I want it to look like it's very airy. So then I'm going to start clicking. And then you're going to slowly be able to see your person. And so when you're happy with that, then you can go ahead and merge down all 3 layers. Okay? Now we can go ahead and add some fun stuff like clouds and things like that. So you can go ahead and search different things like clouds. You can copy and paste again. And then you can arrange it however you want to. And if you want to change the transparency, you can. You can actually even blend it in. You can also copy if you want to do more than one. I'm going to add some birds too. So I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to paste it. Now it has those 3 dots and we know that, or those checkers, and we know that the checkerboard means that we can cut it out. So we're going to click the cutout, and then we're going to do magic mask and click on it. And then it should cut out. Make sure your tolerance is set a little bit higher. I had mine at 7. So, and then you're gonna go ahead and put it wherever you want. You can change the transparency so it blends in. And then you're finished.